For a second, I thought it just wasn't going to record. I was like, good, everything's working. The quality,
Everything's
the
great.
sound.
Oh, except we cannot document that this is actually happening.
Dude, are we showing guns for this episode?
I'm peeling, and I'm itchy,
You're
and
peeling?
I have a new poison reaction. For
Ooh,
all you fans that enjoyed my time suffering through poison sumac, I now have poison ivy
really? From what?
from clearing out my backyard. It doesn't look so bad on camera, but it hurts like hell.
It looks bad. I'll
Thanks.
say.
Yeah.
What day are we
Yeah.
on of the poison ivy?
This would be day 6. So I mean, the rash started probably around 4 days ago, but the contact was 6 days ago. So if it's anything like poison sumac, I have another 3 weeks plus to suffer. So we'll see.
Dude.
We'll see. Hey, I don't know.
Hot boy summer.
Hot boy summer, and hot boys with hot arms, and then humidity that makes it burn, and then cold packs at night because you can't sleep because your arm's on fire. Oh man, it's so great. It's so great. This is exactly what that song is.
I've confused my priorities. Isn't it supposed to come to me? Yes, this is how it's meant to be. Every little thing flashing on a screen.
Oh no.
My daddy worked hard for
I didn't really realize how much I was killing it with the the farmer tan this year.
Yeah.
I really.
Yeah. Good job.
Real solid. A lot of t-shirts this summer for me.
It's a good. You know what? This is the summer of the t-shirt. Isn't that isn't that just summer?
Yeah. My hot boy summer does not involve taking my shirt off. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
I feel like I've gone for like 5 runs in the last couple of weeks, so I'm almost there.
Yeah.
I can almost see the top of an ab.
What's wild is that so many people will be like, all right, I got to get into like running, and they do this in like July, and I'm like, that's the worst month to get into running. I'm like, it's like, yeah, I really find that I hit my stride at about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Only on sunny, humid days. Like that's when I really like to run. I'm like, that's horribly dangerous. Yeah, I mean, I guess the theory is though, is if you start now, as you go on, you'll get that much better because you're like, wow, I didn't realize how great running can be when it's colder out. Because like the optimal running weather is like high 40s. Like that's the good time to run.
It's been hot this week.
Yes.
Obviously for everybody. You guys know, StrangeFam, the weather. Speaking I don't know why. I've had enough weather talk for my life. Like I've started, I don't know if I can manage this at work sometimes. Like sometimes somebody will just say something about the weather, being, wow, it's crazy hot, and I want to continue. And now I'm to the point where I just kind of let it fizzle and don't look at the person anymore. It's usually like a customer or something, just kind of small talk. It can be weather or other related. But I'm like, yeah. And then I just stop. And then it's like an awkward, like 8 seconds later, it's like, well, I can either say something now or just walk away from it, but not physically walk away from it. Just like symbolically walk away from it, but you're still standing next to the person. Right. You're just like,
how do I diffuse
here.
The situation but don't walk away? Yeah, you're like, yeah, I want them to feel the sensation and visualize me walking away. How do I do that with just remaining here?
Well, yeah.
It's weird though, man. Like someone telling you, like wanting this to spark the weather conversation, it's reflexive. So it's amazing that you're able to fight that, because like it's like someone throwing a baseball at you, like your reflexes are to catch it. So like when someone says like the weather's hot, you're like, yeah, I know. And then in the back of your head, you're like, why'd you fucking say that? Why'd you say that? They're gonna keep going. Because then they're like, you do know? It's not nearly as hot as it was in 1976. You're like, no, historical weather. No.
I'm going to start tossing out this one. Yeah, it is. But you know what? I don't think anybody knows what it's going to be like tomorrow or the day after. Like really
If only
set
we
them
could
up.
forecast
Nobody's
this
looked up
type.
the weather for the next week at all. So, oh, you
You
did?
know, or you know what? You know what? No, push back,
Ooh,
but not
can we have-
aggressively, not aggressively,
Oh.
and not supported. So be like, it's really hot out today. No, I disagree. And then just
Well, tomato,
don't
tomato.
validate it. Yep. There you go. Yeah, use like weird turns of phrase.
Yeah.
Or like
Well,
the
that's
best
your
one is
opinion.
the drop off. The drop off turn of phrase that normally has a second part. Like one of my favorites is well, take it from me. And then don't follow it up
that's
with
so
anything.
hard to handle. That's really hard.
It's
to
hard
deal
to
with.
pull off because your
Yeah.
brain needs to say something after it. But just think of the victim. The recipient of that has no idea what to do with themselves.
See, I do like turning like just small talk into loaded political discussion.
There you go.
Be like, oh my
Blindside
God,
them.
it's like a 30% chance of rain today. It's like, oh yeah, is that what Elon wants you to think?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Like hope it's hot enough for Biden. What? What?
you know what they say.
There you go. You're doing well.
Yeah, we're doing it.
You're getting it. You're doing it, Peter.
Dude,
You're
are we
doing
bringing in a new
it.
era, a new era of
Yeah.
small talk.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Wow, didn't think
Yeah.
that this episode would start with us revolutionizing small talk or the final stand against small talk.
What if so I was just thinking, like if I wanted to say goodbye to somebody or just end the conversation, just say, what if we had a button like a soundboard like we have here and it's like, oh, the weather, huh? Then I just go,
I hate goodbyes.
but don't say anything after that. Like, okay, bye. Bye then.
Yeah, I think
just like
life soundboards is probably. I can't believe we're not there. We have
keep
technology.
thinking about like implanted chips as a way to like have our finances and to like look up Encyclopedia Britannica articles or whatever you'd use. But why not just? I want a soundboard that I don't even have to do anything anymore. So when it's an automatic,
I want. You know what? Not even a soundboard. I'll even go more basic. Just give me a little like remote thing, something, and it's going to have two options. It's going to have a bell that dings, and it's going to have a buzzer like Family Feud incorrect answers. So it'll be like someone says like small talk that I like, and I'll go ding. Or someone says small talk that I don't want to address, it's and that's all you do. Yep.
Dang, I wish I had a bell here. I don't. I bet I have.
Wow, you have a soundboard, but bell isn't part of the soundboard. You
No.
have I hate goodbyes from Dumb and Dumber, but you don't have a bell sound. Okay.
I should have something really. I gotta have a game show sound on here. That would work.
Yeah, maybe even if you have time, a really bad one is your boom 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 wow from Price is Right.
I should. That's what I was looking for. I guess.
Yeah.
What if I just do that with we could do that with the mouth though. Just womp bom 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 wow.
Mm-hmm.
Another.
Or even a good slide whistle.
Dude, I can't believe I don't have any of those on here.
Well, great. Oh, I don't know. I have no idea what that was.
Hard no.
Or no, dude, I got to add to this. I'm really sorry. I let
Is
the StrangeFam down.
Are you using? Are you using?
Fail horn.
Are you using E-Bombs World? Because that's my extent of soundboards.
Well, the studio that we're using that doesn't always work has a way for me to upload sound effects. That's typically how I do it.
Question for you.
Yeah.
In knowing your background and your ventures in college with comedy, did you ever use E-Bomb soundboards to prank call people? You know the E-Bomb soundboards I'm talking about,
I remember E-Bombs
right?
World. That was like a way to
E-Bombs
share
was
memes
huge.
Before. Well, you didn't share memes. It was just the videos on the internet. That's all it was.
Yeah.
So it was a way. It was America's Home Video,
Predated like
except
College Humor.
yeah, except it had like people getting really injured or
Yep,
like
that was on
videos you
there
couldn't
too.
see on AFV. So it was like rated R internet videos. Wow, that's crazy to think. That was like pre YouTube, pre everything. It was just like,
Yeah.
hey, where can all of the kind of like derelicts to society share the videos that really they shouldn't be sharing? And we put it on there. A lot of them were funny. Then people started putting sketches.
Yeah.
Um, how did that not survive?
But yeah, like soundboards, they had like the Arnold soundboards. They had
Oh yeah, yeah,
soundboards
yeah.
of like Joe Pesci
That's right.
soundboards. And yeah, we would use them to call our friends and stuff in college. They're called their dorm extensions.
Yeah.
And to prank
My
call them with
CPU
it.
is a neural net processor.
There you go. Someone's in my house with my family eating my birthday cake.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. Oh my gosh.
I feel
E-bombs
like it
world.
worked for like a week where people would be like, "Wait, is this really
Yeah.
Arnold
Well,
Schwarzenegger?" Yeah.
you can't prank your friends that know about it. That doesn't
Yeah.
work. Well, it's what's nice is on a phone voice, you can't tell like Arnold, yeah, Arnold's a tough one because he's got such a distinctive voice. But you could do like the Joe Pesci one, and he's just got kind of a generic voice on the other side of a phone. So the phone helped mask that it was maybe more of a famous voice, but yeah, you just screw with people. Crank calls in general. Crank and prank calls. I don't know if there was a difference, but you could use the term interchangeably.
Yeah. Is Crank like the Q-tip of the cotton swab world? It's like Crank is like a, it's a brand name. I don't know, honestly. Whenever people said crank calls, I was like, no, you're saying it wrong.
Yeah, I would say prank calls. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a great question. Or it's not a great question, it's just
Yeah.
a question, but
The Wild West of the internet was crazy though, where it was just whatever you can think of, just put it there
there
within
wasn't a
whatever
hub.
technology
Like
we had. Yeah.
we were still so new to internet that what was cool about it is that they had to be somewhat like regional and stuff like that. And what I mean by that is like there wasn't YouTube. There wasn't, even like pre-social media. So everyone's version of what they knew about the internet was terribly different, and you just found out sites from talking to people like like new time wasting sites. Let's be honest, if you weren't exactly looking up information for like a paper or something in college, it was solely just a time waster. But instead of having it in your hand on your phone and using social media, you just went like, I got half an hour to kill, I'll just sit at my computer and see where the internet takes me. Like, you didn't fall in YouTube vortexes, you fell in internet vortexes.
Oh
But
yeah,
it
the
was
World Wide Web.
it was all about just, yeah, like kind of like, well, even going further back tangential is when if you had AOL as your carrier, there was AOL keywords. And so like AOL had almost its own keyword based search engine that would take you to like AOL versions of websites and stuff. So yeah, dude. Yeah, an AIM. For when you lost AOL, when people started realizing AOL was not the way to get internet anymore. So so you had to download AIM with your new Netscape carrier. Or
Netscape.
there was another one.
Netscape was
Something
my
net
incognito browser on the family computer
Earth.
because everybody would use Internet Explorer. So I just, I learned stuff pretty quickly. So then I would just use the Netscape Navigator because nobody would pull that up. Why would anybody use that?
Yep,
Nobody knows what
that's
that
silly.
is.
No one knows what that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
They couldn't tell I was looking up magic tricks.
because I can't
Kept it
have you risk.
incognito.
I can't risk you knowing how I do this trick.
Yes, exactly.
Listen, man.
I did use
I
the early
mean,
internet for me was
your
looking
magic-
up magic tricks.
I wish I was kidding, folks. He was looking up
not.
magic tricks. That's not code for porn. It's magic tricks.
Yeah, I was looking up how to do the Svengali card trick and double anal. All within that. I was a Renaissance boy.
I was at a really weird time where I was bridging that gap between boyhood and manhood, going back and forth. But I mean, you did do magic in front of East Middle School.
I did.
You
I
did.
still tell people that story.
You were
with my sister, my younger sister.
Yep. You were in a legit talent contest and did magic in front of the middle school at the prime time where you are at that crossroads where you don't just have circles of friends. You will either become popular or unpopular, and you took the risk and jumped in head first and did magic for everyone.
I
and it
put
was
myself into a hole.
something about like a Copperfield thing where it's on TV and it's like, okay, now pick one of these pictures on the wheel.
It was exactly a ripoff of a David Copperfield trick. Yeah, exactly.
David Copperfield having been showing America this, like in the homes of 47 million people the week before, Matt took the dive and did the exact same trick.
And then I did a card trick, which plays really well on stage in front of an auditorium with no cameras or anything.
And then, is this your card? People are like, I don't know.
Yeah. And then the box. I made my sister appear from a box that like the 9th grade technology class or something made and had it shipped over. And I think they used the wrong dimensions. It was like clearly like if you were on the side of the auditorium, you could see her standing behind it. It was terrible. Oh God. And then I had to do it. Well, not only because I was in it twice. I was in the talent show twice for 2 really cool things. One was magic and the other was in the jazz band.
I was gonna say, didn't we perform as the jazz band
like Mission
in the
Impossible
talent contest?
We did, or something like that. Yeah.
Well, MI1 was probably just released. It was probably a hot topic.
Dude, yeah, that's one. I mean, I don't know where. Sometimes I wish I had the balls of the 6th grader that was really into magic. You know,
it's not balls. That's not balls. That's the. I don't realize that. Like anything's at risk. I just enjoy doing this.
Yeah.
Because you don't know.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah. You don't understand any potential negatives. You're not worried about that stuff. It's just like, oh, I'm allowed to do something that I find fun that other people don't do. Okay. Why would I not sign up for that?
Yeah. And I would say it did not pay off.
Huh. So like yeah, that's the ticket. So like
anyway.
So like the following afterwards, like in the hallway, you're set up at the table for autograph session and stuff, and the meet and greet just didn't go as planned.
Just waiting for people to come to my locker, see my locker buddy, and my locker, look in that mirror, see if anybody's behind me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had those little locker things that we made to hold our pens or whatever.
In home and careers,
we made them.
Right? Because you didn't take your pens with you to class.
Yeah,
your pens didn't belong in class; they belonged in your locker. Yeah.
But magic did pay off later in life. Like I still have some cards in my life, some trick decks, some regular decks, and it pays off as an adult, especially if you're around people drinking. I'll say that.
Hold on. Before you go any further, there's trick decks involved?
Dude, no.
You son of a bitch.
No.
I thought it was always sleight of hand, like obviously not magic, but I always thought it was just physical misdirection.
It is. Most of it is. There are.
Yeah.
Most of it. You guys,
let's walk this one back. Let's walk this one back.
Hold on.
Wow, you think you fucking know somebody?
If any of our StrangeFam is from the International Brotherhood of Magicians, just know, I'm being held hostage. Not me.
Shut up. You shut your goddamn mouth.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, now that you've disappointed everyone,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, there's a couple trick decks that exist.
Yeah.
But most of it is sleight of hand. So that's why I'm saying it plays really well when you're drinking around people, because I wouldn't say I practice so much, but there's still a few tricks I know that involve sleight of hand where when people are drinking, they're not really paying attention. So you can really, really get them. You really get the people like, what the fuck, dude? And I'm like, yeah, right in front of them. You can do it right in front of their face, a sleight of hand. It's like, how many cards? I'm listing like 4 cards here, dude. Come on. Like, don't play poker with this guy. But it's kind of double-edged sword, because there was one time I did it for the friend group in Austin, and the girl, like, whatever, it was like one of those things, pick a, here's a card, and then at the end we did it. There's the 9 of clubs. She's like, no. And I'm like, no, it is. It has to be. Just
Oh, she was
because
too drunk and forgot what her card was?
Yeah, she's too drunk to remember.
Ah,
yeah. She's like,
that's the
no, it wasn't.
problem.
I was like, yeah, it is. Thanks. What is it? I don't even know if
You're
she
like,
remembered.
I did not think about this.
Yeah. I didn't see this coming back at me.
Man.
But yeah, learn some magic. I remember I got into magic from being in tag, talented and gifted.
Oh, I'm like from a game
then-
of tag. I'm gonna need an explanation.
Well, that's what they called it here. So like in
What
fourth and
was
fifth
talented
grade or
and
something,
gifted?
we would go
Wasn't
at the
it
end of the
gifted and
day, like
talented?
once a. We called it tag, talented and gifted.
Was it a
But maybe
school
someplace
based thing?
called it
I know what
GAT.
you're talking about.
It was where in elementary school, like once a week or once a month on a Friday, you'd go down to the cafeteria, like the tag kids, and do like an experiment and do something different to open our minds, you know? Because you couldn't conform our intelligence, you know? We were just distracted. We couldn't pay attention in school because we were so brilliant. Like I could do my additions in like 2 minutes. So they had to have us go to the
My
cafeteria and
times
make
tables were
glue.
nailed down.
Yeah. And then one year they were like, well, for 6th grade or something. Maybe it was in 5th grade. You got to go, or 6th grade, you got to go to the Cuga Community College and audit 2 classes. They like bring a bunch of people in, and all the tag kids got to go. And I picked for my 2 classes charcoal drawing and magic. That's what I picked. And a guy named Virgil the Magician from Weedsport came and taught the magic class. He had long hair. He looked like an anorexic, crack addicted Shawn Michaels. It was perfect for the time.
That's pretty
long
good.
hair.
Yeah, that's appealing to a kid.
He looked like Skid Row, the band and the street, all mixed into one. It was a great combo. But man, he had me hooked.
Well, yeah. I mean, how would Virgil the Magician not have you hooked?
Yeah.
You know what's bad?
Still,
you know you're not getting
my
top.
recommendation to this day is still do magic. Pick up a couple of tricks for your life.
See, the problem is as a kid, you don't realize the last guy you want to learn magic from is someone whose only rank or like tag is the magician, not like the great, the sorcerer, nothing like that. It's like Virgil, the magician.
Virgil the Semi-Pro Magician.
Yeah, like that's like, yeah, that's like the private in the military. Like Virgil is the guy. I mean, he's at a community college teaching 6th graders, so maybe it's
Virgil, the official magician of the 1994 Cuga County Fair.
Yeah, understudy.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I bought a magic set once because you were into it, and I'm like, yeah, I could do this. So it was like, but I learned like one card trick. It was like this something about like the jacks. You lay out all the jacks, and you're like, this one's gonna take the elevator, and you put it on top of the deck and tap it, and then there's a jack on the bottom and stuff. And so there was that. There was some rope thing that I could never figure out. There was some some ball thing that I could never figure out. So I got really frustrated really quick. But that's the confusing part of magic is like, so how do you get to learn? Do they have like a secured website now? Like in today's world? Because like in the past, how did you do it? Like, did you have to get in a know with a magician? And then when you were ready to graduate that guy's complexity, you like found another like one to like, were there magician fellowships? I don't understand how all of it connects.
Probably. I mean, I know a lot of like there was straight up just like a magic shop, I think in Syracuse that I went to once and bought like a card technique book, which I still have on my shelf. Expert card technique.
Expert level already? Jeez.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. I didn't finish it. It's a tough read. You know, I haven't figured out all the characters and everything. It's kind of like reading Dune. But I think when I was in high school or whatever, middle school or whenever I got the internet, probably high school, like it'd be like a website called like 123 Magic or something. Like, you know, there's not a really high barrier of entry into magic because it's not a lot of people really trying to
not a high
into
demand.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's their acceptance
like anybody
rate into the magic school? It's
106%.
That
Fox show with the magician who was going to spoil all the
masked magician
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it was so popular, it would still be on, but it's not. So, you know.
Yeah, like like imagine trying in 2023 being like, finally, we're going to show you how all the magic's done. People are like, what the hell? What are you even talking about? They're like, remember David Copperfield? And people in their 30s are like, who? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, that guy that made the Statue of Liberty
The
disappear
Charles
and then
Dickens
come back?
book. Yeah. And then, well, because not surprisingly, David Blaine rocked the world in '99, like bringing out all these. He went from that like illusion style to all the close up shit. But now you can just look up YouTube. Every trick you ever want to know, you can look it up.
Oh my God.
But where's the fun in that, you know?
Dude, how many times did we watch David Blaine's Street Magic? What a freaking great special.
It is. And even like, I know he's gone on to the stunts and crazy things that he does with his body, which is otherworldly. But
yeah,
take me back to the basics. Just fucking with kids and poor people on the street.
Kids, athletes, and coked out poor people. Like that is David Blaine's favorite target audience.
Yeah, I love it.
But oh my God, because their reactions are the best.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the little pudgy kid with like, I think it was the quarter bite?
That's the one that just came to my mind.
And the kid just goes, whoa. Yeah, it's like,
sweet.
Yeah, that's sweet. What it's like. Sweet. Oh my! And then there was Fruit Loops, the guy who had his name written on the card.
Yep, Fruit Loops.
He's like, "What's your name?"
Like
he's like, "Fruit Loops," and he's like, "No, but he's like, "Yeah, but what's your name?" He's like, "Fruit Loops." Okay.
Yeah. But
when David Blaine wasn't the weirdest guy on camera.
Yeah. Man.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, still inspires me to this day.
That's
I just listened to. I was kind of pumped for this pod because.
Okay.
Speaking of that era, I just listened to listening to 16 Stone as I took a shower this morning. I haven't listened to it in a while.
Referenced 16 Stone within the last 2 weeks.
You have?
I referenced it to my manager in the last 2 weeks. Dude.
We're always so serendipitous.
It's very weird. It's very weird. I have no reason to mention it otherwise, but yes, go ahead. Please continue about 16.
Well, I've been trying, since I've been running more, I've been trying to find music. It's hard to find like what I feel like running to. But I've been trying to figure out a little grunge mode.
Interesting.
But I hadn't listened to, there's stuff I hear a lot, but I was like, I haven't listened to 16 Stone in a long time. And that was like the album everybody had in like 1995. But Machine Head started playing before the pod. And I was like, dude, breathe in, breathe out, man. Breathe in, breathe out. I'm getting pumped here.
Wow, it's like
tell me how to
for
breathe.
Exercise. Thanks, Gavin.
Yeah. Now where do I go from here? Do I do a full rehash of like 90s grunge? Because it got me into it. Because last episode we talked about Offspring.
Yeah.
So I listened to that one album that you mentioned. And I was like, well, let's go back. And I'm like, well, what else do we have? Do I go Weezer Blue Album? Do I do Green Day? I love, you know what? Probably the 90s album I've listened to the most in the last decade. Surprisingly, The Refreshments. Fizzy, Fuzzy, Big and Buzzy. I love that album. It's so good. Had the Jean-Luc Picard song. But the whole album slaps. It slays, as we say. As us Gen Zers say.
So,
but it's so, I don't know if it's because I was in Texas, so it has that kind of a vibe, like a twangy vibe, because they're from Arizona. So it was like, I liked it, but that's a wreck. I would listen to that again.
That's interesting because there's nothing more interesting than going back to albums that like you even owned on like CD, but like you were a kid and you focused very much on the hits, whereas now our brains are very much more because singles aren't as much of a thing. Like, well, I guess, no, that's not true. But like, I never, like, I bailed out of like pop music. I'm just not in tune with it, not against the music itself, but I bailed out of it and, got more album focused and stuff like that. You listen to things more as a whole than you did as a kid. So it's neat to go back to albums and go like, let me slow down and like break down this album and go through this album. So I like that. Cause the Refreshments, Los Bandidos is like the only song that I can think of or maybe even know. But finding out like there was a song from the 90s that you're like, yo, I never gave this album as much credit as it deserved. That's always a sweet find, but it's really hard to talk to people about it unless they appreciate that concept as well. Cause you can't go around and be like, so you listen to anything new recently? Yeah, man. I mean, 1997's Refreshments album was pretty ripping. And they're like, the hell are you talking about?
But I've looked him up. They haven't had too much after that. A little bit, but I always wanted to see him on tour. But I don't think they. By the time I got back into him, I don't know if they were touring or anything. New Mexico, that's where they're from. But dude, still holds up. Just got a vibe about it that I really like, and if I'm feeling it, I go with it. I was just thinking about albums too, because like the new Travis Scott album just dropped, and I was just thinking, wow, there's like 150 million people that really care about this right now, and I'm not one of them. And I'm like, I just have no idea. I don't understand the impact of it. I probably won't really hear much, if any, of it. Maybe I'll catch it on commercials or at games or something, or on a video game, or maybe I'll catch like a live performance of something randomly on YouTube. But it's wild. Like, I mean, it's also not a genre that I always listen to.
An interesting album, I'll tell you, that I got into when I was in North Carolina. But it was not from that time. So that was in 2010. But to kind of give you my own rec, because I'll listen to that Refreshments album. It's the one with Banditos on it. That's the album specifically you're talking about? Okay.
Busy, Fuzzy, Big and Buzzy. It's called, dude.
Gotcha. I will throw at you a song. This band only had one song on the radio, and I wouldn't even say it was necessarily popular. But you might remember it, and it was from either I'm fairly certain the album is from 2000. So it would have been junior, senior year, and the song was "Heaven Is a Half Pipe." And it went, "If
Bum, bum, bum.
I
No,
die
wait.
before I wake, at least in heaven I can skate."
Yes.
So
Who is that?
That was a band called OPM, just the initials OPM.
Wow.
And the album is called Menace to Sobriety.
Yes, I remember the name of that album too.
Dude,
It's such a great name.
It is a killer, fun summer album. Like, it blends alternative, hip hop, like, and so there's like rap songs on there and stuff. Like, it is a really fun album to open up and just be like, I have no idea what this is, but I can listen to this album front to back. I don't remember even what piqued my interest in diving into the album that summer, but yeah, OPM, Menace to Sobriety.
Dude, I've already favorited it. I'm gonna check it out. Yeah, I remember that album. It's so funny, like thinking about that and knowing I've seen that album cover at Record Town, probably sitting in the top 15 or something at one point because of that single. Like, bands could be made from one single. Like, you'd buy the whole album. That was wow. What a world.
Yeah, man.
All right. Good. Now that we're warmed up and we've talked about the 90s again, let's get into our words. I'm very curious about our words this week. So these were the words that were recommended to us by Sarah, listener Sarah, and they were schedule, camping, and team. So we did a little camping talk, and we know Jeff, not a tent guy anymore, not a part of his life.
Won't do it. Can't do it.
But the story it made me think about is when I first moved to Texas, probably around like 2008 or so, I went camping at a place called Garner State Park with my girlfriend. Tent camped. It was really hot. We had like a battery powered fan, but we were like right next to a creek or a river, and there was like tons of people there. So it was fun, even though it was hot. But one day there was like this rope swing tree that people would go on, or like kind of had a ladder so people would climb up to like 20, 30 feet to jump into this creek. It was crazy. And then all of a sudden, this one townie comes by. You could tell, he had like the cutoff shorts and everything. And it's definitely his territory. He comes through a lot. So he climbs to the top of this tree. He's got to be 60 feet in the air.
That's terrifying. I already don't like that.
So terrifying. We're watching this. I'm like, oh my God, look at this town. Like, his kid is probably like, he jumps off, lands on his back, straight on his back. Can't move at all. Dude, I'm saying, like,
oh God.
It was the most audible quietness I've ever heard in my life.
Because were people watching it? Like, meaning like,
oh yeah,
because he was so high.
Everybody, it was midday, like everybody on the rivers, like watching this kid. And we're
so
just,
did
like,
he
watching,
fall?
like, oh my God,
or did he miss?
I mean, he jumped. I think he intentionally jumped, but then he had no control. So he like kind of flipped over, but then just like just smacked on his back, and we were just like, "Oh, he's gonna be okay. He's okay." And then he just wasn't moving at all. So somebody had like grabbed him, like some guy in there, and like kind of moved him over the side. Like we were so far away from like
Move him
hospitals
over to
and
the
ambulance.
side so other people could use the swing.
Get out of the way! Get out of the way, old
Get
man!
out of the way! It's my
I'm
turn.
in line for 10 minutes. They had to get a helicopter in because we were so far away from like anything remote.
But also,
to a city or
at least they moved him, because if there's anything I know about spinal injuries, they say first thing you do is move the person.
Yeah.
What are you moving him for? Was he drowning? No, then don't move him. Was there a bear coming? No, then don't move him. Why would you move him?
I say, it really ruined the camping trip for like an hour. Had to get stoned.
Kind of killed the vibe.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I'd have some shiners about it. Yeah. It was crazy. Like I'll never forget just the sound, the visual.
So
of
how?
it, and just like,
so tell me this. All right. So yeah, you let me ask you some follow-ups. So how long was it before the helicopter came?
a couple hours.
Oh my God. Now, let me ask you this.
If I remember, yeah.
Was so this is there's water and everything, right?
Yeah.
There's water at this area. So did like people keep swimming while he was like dying?
I think people were still in, so
like, yeah,
it's
we're like
one of those.
Like, how much did the world come back while he still was on the ground pending a helicopter pickoff? Because you don't know these people. So it's like, how concerned am I supposed to be for this stranger who's just laying there, who did this to himself? Like, it sounds inappropriate, but there's some sort of measure where you go, well, at some point I go, all right, well, so who wants to play Marco Polo?
There's definitely a diffusion of responsibility thing where it's like everybody's like stunned for a little bit, and then it's like, well, that guy's got it covered. I'm gonna turn around now. So I'm thinking about going with the yellow pants. I think I'm a yellow pants guy now. It's one of those where you have your hands still above the water, but you're waist deep, and you're just like turn around slowly and like, I'm gonna stop looking at that. Just like. So wait, do we need another beer run? I forgot. What were we gonna do?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That was. I mean, it's my vacation, so it's like, you know.
Yeah.
I don't. I guess I don't remember all the details exactly. There was definitely some shock. We had to get back to our. You know what? All it made me think was life's to live, man. You know, every moment.
There
special.
you go. That's the easy cop out.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the one you're looking for. It's like, yeah, man, just tells you life's short and you really need to enjoy every moment with each other. So, and you turn around and you're like, who wants to do a funnel? Woo!
Yeah.
Good.
Oh yeah.
Good. That's important. I mean, yeah, as far as camping goes, like, don't get me wrong. Again, I loved doing outdoor stuff. So there was, Letchworth State Park was somewhat in the.
That's a great.
Yeah, that was an area of easy to get to from Buffalo. So many times we would rent a couple sites and have kind of a cluster of random friends from college. We'd go in groups, some maybe friends from Buffalo and stuff like that. And yeah, it's always kind of fun to go to a neutral site to hang out. And you have to know that you have to bring everything with you. But you're still not doing anything outdoorsy, but you feel like you're being outdoorsy by doing stuff outdoors. Meaning like you're bringing some lawn games, but you're also bringing beer pong tables and stuff like that. And you're playing outside and you're like, yo, this is camping. And you're like, am I doing this right? Am I being outdoorsy now because I'm playing this indoor game outdoors? The answer is yes. That's the height of true camping. But you're also, you're eating weird foods that maybe you don't normally. You're cooking it in odder manners. You take literally a food that you never actually eat other than camping, and that is the s'more. Where you literally like, it's not even a food. Like, it's one thing to grill hot dogs and hamburgers. You'll do that at home and stuff like that. But s'mores, it is a food that somehow only applies if you are camping. And they're not that great. they're great, but they're not that
Marshmallows
great.
are so
Like,
gross.
yeah,
They're so
you're like,
dumb.
I don't know why we're doing this. I'm not even sure I actually want this, but like out of principle, I'll feel more camping if I do this. The important part is you also always look like an idiot and a slob when eating them, and they are guaranteed to probably ruin stuff. But um, like it was funny. We'd had like we had a batch of like normal brownies. I will say that, not Matt Jones Texas brownies, if you know what I mean. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but like we were like
Magic brownies.
walking away from the campsite, and I turned around to get something else, and there was literally a squirrel who took off the cellophane wrapper and was just like going at like I'm like I don't even care. This is great. I'm like, look at this squirrel. And then we also had one where like as soon as night fell, a raccoon just came and was like going right for our trash, like zero F's that people were still around and stuff. So I don't know, rabies maybe, but we are just like, and because you've had some beer in you, and so you're like, I think there's danger, but it's really funny too.
Let's have fun with it.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, I mean, nowadays, I definitely do appreciate the concept of like hiking and stuff like that. Now, so like state parks and stuff are really rad to go see, and obviously, in Auburn, I wish I had kind of gone to like Ithaca a little bit more, or like Fillmore Glen. I don't even know the last time I
Mm-hmm.
was at there, but Ithaca for Taganic Falls, and so lots of cool areas in Central New York to go. Jersey doesn't exactly have that type of stuff, but Pennsylvania,
Jersey,
there's
yeah.
Wissahickon Park outside of Philly, which is great. But as we know, Jeff gets poison sumac there, so I have to wait until like the poison sumac uh, season is over before I go back. But that's a lot of easy hiking trails and stuff like that. So kind of
What
similar
is
to.
your I've had this conversation about s'mores. So,
Mhm.
what's your method for the mallow? Because
Oh,
I know
mallow
a
roasting?
lot of people in my life that are just straight up burners and proud of it. Just fire it up, get it done in like 20 seconds. Whereas I like to toast it. I like to get a nice golden brown around it. I'm okay to wait a few minutes. I want to start oozing.
A few minutes is a lot because,
Is
well,
it?
not that I need it done. It's more of like the marshmallow stick is always too short, so it's like, oh, I want to get a good roast on it, but also my arm feels like it's setting on fire. So like you need a long, I need a long, easy one to like almost like a holding like a fishing rod. Like I want a long one that I can just kind of sit and relax and hold, because like roasting and standing and trying to be awesome with it, that's just too intricate. Burners can, like, if you're talking like literally light it on fire, sit, and then like blow it out, like you're talking like that with like a char on it, that's disgusting.
Just setting it on fire. Yeah,
Yeah, but like
I
there's going to be a
agree.
char, and that's disgusting. Like when it cracks and then you see like the white actual non-burnt
Yeah,
marshmallow in the middle. No, that's
molten.
gross. Yeah, that's psycho. No, I would love a golden brown. I'm just really bad at it, and I want it to be golden brown as fast as possible. So I I walk that line, much like Johnny Cash was singing about with roasting marshmallows, is that
Hmm.
I'll get really close to the flame and I'm like, yo, I think I got the perfect spot because it's not catching on fire. And I swear I won't move it. And then 10 seconds later, it is hot enough to catch on fire. And I'm like, no. But so
Yeah.
I usually do, it's like a middle ground. I'll roast it for a good amount of time. It probably lasts a good 30 seconds roasting it, but then it does end up setting on fire. But I quick to blow out. So I'm more likely to set it on fire on accident 4 or 5 times, blowing it out as fast as possible. So yeah, it looks like I'm just like a little kid doing it for the first time and not understanding how any of this works because of how much it sets on fire and I blow it out.
Fair. Schedule. The word schedule made me think of dreams because I wanted to talk about dreams. Like, what kind of dreams are you having? Because schedule to me makes me think of one of the most common dreams that still affects my sleeps is being on like the last day of high school and being like, wow, I haven't done any of the work at all, and I haven't even been to this class all year. How am I going to pass this class? They could be like, wow, I haven't done any of the syllabus. I haven't done my final paper, and here I am on the last day of high school. I mean, forget the fact that I forgot my locker combination already, and it's the end of the school year. I forgot where the class was. I'm already late. But then I wasn't there the whole year, and my thought is like, I hope the teacher didn't notice that I haven't done any of the work and that I'm not prepared and I haven't been here because I really need to graduate. Even though I clearly graduated high school, no problems with that. But um, just for some reason, that's like a recurring dream that I have. It's just that like I'm at the wrong class at the wrong time. I don't know what classes I'm supposed to be in. I didn't do all my work. Um, and yeah, I don't know why. That's the schedule for me. And I've looked it up before, different meanings. Who knows? I mean, But do you have that? Do you have that dream, or what's your recurring dream?
That's literally it. You're
Is
not
it
being
really?
you're not being that interesting. No, dude, I don't understand
No, I
how
know. I
this
know
is
it's very
possible
common, but
because like honest to God, mine's college, but I always figured
okay.
mine was because how jacked up my college career was with
So you're going straight forward with it.
missing
Yeah.
classes and failing out a couple times and everything. So like
Yeah.
mine
Yours are
always
just
felt like
memories.
yeah, mine always felt like it was like the shame or guilt would be like, no, you don't forget. Don't forget this feeling. But yeah, it's the concept of you have cognizant part of your dream is memory, which is annoying because it doesn't happen in any other dream. But part of your dream's focus is the memory that you haven't been going to class and you haven't done the work, but now it's crunch time, whatever that means. Maybe it's an exam, maybe it's time to hand in something. But yeah, it's the fear of, well, what do I do now? So I just thought mine was always triggered because I have that underlying shame that certainly will live with me the rest of my life. Don't worry, I'm over it. Haha, I'm not over it. But yeah, I mean, that's exactly my recurring dream. So that blows. But scheduling in
Like,
general, I mean,
yeah, it's school anxiety. I mean, reflection of, well, yeah, I guess it could be straightforward, insecure during high school, college, but it could be reflective of now. Like maybe you feel, or maybe my path. Maybe I'm not stoked about where I am right now. Like maybe there's something missing. I forgot my assignment, didn't do something. Am I missing something in my life right now? I am.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean,
It's somebody to
I don't
bone
know.
with.
Whatever it is, I'm not figuring it out. So I'll go to a psychoanalyst. I'm sure that'll go well. Um, put up a couple of dream catchers and be done with it. And so, like scheduling in general, I like having stuff on my schedule, but I also hate it. Like it's a very weird love-hate relationship
Mm-hmm.
as an adult to have stuff on your schedule, but also hate having stuff on your schedule. I get stuff, but I get responsibilities done better on like a to-do list concept or like some sort of guide. Um, I very rarely accomplish something the day of that I come up with doing it the day of. I pretty much even have to schedule things. Like it doesn't matter when, it can be
Showers.
evenings, day off, stuff like that. But if I want any sort of task that needs to be done, I need to schedule it. I won't do it on a whim. But also like my like leisure is I like putting stuff on schedule because I like having stuff to look forward to, whatever that is. So, right now I'm trying to figure out what my next baseball park is, and because I just want that on my schedule, and that's kind of a double because that's kind of a to-do list as well, a leisure to-do list to mark another one off. Um, so I am a big schedule person. I used to just try to remember shit, but my memory is clearly a dumpster fire these days. And so I use my little Google Maps with all my little sketchies on here. My Google Maps, my Google
It's a
Calendar.
weird looking map. Yeah.
Shut up. And it's a map of time, Dick.
Dude.
So
Whoa.
yeah, think outside the
Dude, maps
box.
are a construct.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I have to use because um, commitments of leisure and things like doctor's appointments because we're over 40 and like basically
Yeah, I
anything
should
I
get one
really
of
need to
those.
put on a schedule. But as we know, oftentimes one of us is texting the other and being like, did we set something up for next time? Did we set?
Hey,
Are we
I mean, it's still
podcasting?
scheduling. Hey,
That's true. That's true.
it's still
Texting is
scheduling.
still it, but we still sometimes
That's
struggle with
walking
that.
the line again.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Cash, walking the line.
He was
I get
talking
that too,
about
where
podcast scheduling.
like especially days off, because mine aren't always the same, but I like to have a balance of like getting something done. Because if you don't get stuff done, obviously, then all of a sudden the weight of the world starts to impact you. Like even if it's small, like doing laundry, like having dishes on the counter, getting recyclables out, even the basics of life. Like if you don't get those done on a day you wanted to, all of a sudden it's like there's this like nebulous pressure around you, and it just affects the way you live. So you like to have that stuff done. But again, even making time for leisure, like the thing I try to avoid now is just make a decision about times, especially on a day off. I get up and I'm like, I know the things that I have to do in my life. Like, okay, I got to go run an errand. Hey, I need to get some new shoes, or I need to go get my car inspected. These are things I need to do. And then, well, here's the things I want to do. Like, I'd love to play, there's a new update on a game today that I want to play. Also, I want to go for a run, or I want to go fishing. And it's like all these things I'm deciding between what I have to do and what I want to do and trying to find the balance. What happens sometimes is all of a sudden I realize I'm 2 hours awake on a day off, and I've paralyzed myself because I can't decide like which thing to do. Like, should I do the
Paralysis
thing that
by
I should
analysis,
do?
man.
Yeah,
Paralysis by
exactly. So now I'm like,
analysis.
I try to get better now, or I think I have done it, but it's just doing something. Whether it is, hey, if I'm doing something fun and I'm not doing the get the tires changed thing, at least I'm doing something. If I just am watching YouTube videos for two
Oh
hours
yeah.
because I can't decide what to do, then I'm gonna. Now, I realized I started to feel worse doing that versus like doing something I want to do or doing something I need to do.
That's the problem with streaming TV, man. When
Yeah,
nothing
it's
good was
so
on
easy.
when nothing good was on TV on cable, you just didn't watch TV. Now the problem is too much is available for us to start and stop whenever we feel like, and there's just too many options. So we just stream for hours, and you're like, well, that was a waste of a fucking day. You're like, I just watched a subpar TV show and I watched 12 episodes. You're like, that's stupid. So like, I'm trying to really dial back on streaming because I think it's just no different than a YouTube vortex where you're like, I
Hmm.
shouldn't be sitting and watching this stuff. Like, that's why I miss movies. At least if you dicked around and watched a movie, here's the start of the movie, here's the end of the movie. Go on with your life. TV shows, it's just like, I blacked out and watched 7 hours of this awful show. So, yeah, man. What I try to do is I often try to cram everything on the same day. I'm very much if I can get myself going, I can keep going. So all those
Of
errands you were
course, yeah,
talking about in your head,
yeah.
I'm like, I would literally do all of that back to back to back. Would not go home because it's like, nope, you can't go home. As soon as I get home, I'm gonna try to fall out of it. So I literally, all I need to do is get myself in the shower, and then as soon as I get out of the shower, grab my stuff and go. Maybe get a drink on while I'm out, maybe get something to eat while I'm out. Like I literally have to get out of the house and going, and then I'll just combo everything together. And then what's nice is when you go like, oh my God, I accomplished so much and it's only like 2 p.m. Then you get to go home and you feel so good because you feel you earned
That's
playing
true.
that
That is a
game.
good feeling. Yeah, yeah.
You're like, I'm playing this game and I'm doing it guilt free because I did so much this morning. And like you play the game, you do better at the game, you enjoy it more because you're like, I got stuff done. So that's how I end up having to do stuff. Now the problem is that's not as easy as it sounds, even though that reward feeling sounds so great, and it does, just like the feeling after exercising. It's still a struggle to get your ass out and do it every single time it comes up. Every freaking time. There's never a time where it's like,
Hmm.
you know what, it was a really easy decision to go out for a run. Maybe I've thought that once out of every 50 runs. Maybe. But it's reality is you don't want to do it, but then at the end you're so glad, but you're like, why can't I harness the enjoyment of this feeling? And why can't I want to get to that every time it's available?
Yeah, I've noticed that with running because like I'll walk over to the park, so it's about I don't know a half-mile walk, and then I usually stretch before, but then the walk warms me up, just make sure I'm not too stiff.
That's what she said.
um, and then but then I'm like, how am I going to get my legs to move? Like I'm like, I don't think my legs are going to run today. Like I don't think I can lift them up and start running in those first few. like the first 100 meters of running are like, I
Oh,
can't do this.
even the first quarter
sucks.
mile, the
Yeah.
first half mile is a
Yeah,
nightmare.
first half probably. That's what I was thinking. The first half, so I'll do. Because now I've gotten to the point where like a couple of laps around Hoos Park's probably like a half mile. And then I've started to like run home. But once I get past that first half mile, I'm like, then I don't feel it anymore. I'm just like, I'm going. Like my inertia's going. I mean, I can still feel like the activity of it, but then I'm just in it. And it's kind of like anything else. You just start. Like there's times like when I'm talking about where I don't know what to do, and I can't decide, and I'm over analyzing. And I just start like, I just walk up to my sink. I'm like, I'm gonna wash this dish. I'm like, all of a sudden I find myself washing
I've
or
washed
cleaning
the
everything I
dishes.
have around there. Yeah, cleaning the counter, like rinsing out cans, like putting that. All of a sudden, I'm doing the things automatically because I just started doing it. And that's kind of just like, I mean, it's, when I edit like this podcast, like I'm just like, start doing it. I mean, that's what I tell people when I used to be like an advisor for students and stuff. And I'm like, just start, just do something. Don't do nothing. Yeah, just do something, and then it'll just take you. And it's kind of like the idea of like rising tides, like rise all boats, kind of float all boats kind of deal. Just do something. And sometimes I just have to tell myself, just do something. Do something. Stop watching fishing on YouTube, even though I fucking love it. Go fishing. It's like, go do it. You love it's making you want to do it. Stop watching it. You just go do it.
Right. Man, these guys look like they're enjoying fishing. I'm enjoying watching them enjoy fishing.
Yeah,
I wish I could fish. Wait, I fish.
Yeah. But I would say I've gotten pretty good at like compartmentalizing time where it doesn't necessarily have to be all at once, where I can maybe like get up or do dishes or go for a run, then come back, do some, or then play some games, but then later go do laundry. I mean, I can kind of make a whole day out of like going in and out of being productive and then having fun. Like, I've kind of figured out a vibe for that where it's not all or nothing, which is pretty good. But it's also probably because I'm a single person and I don't have necessarily like
The
relationship responsibilities, or anything. I mean, outside my family, like, I mean, I still have that. Like today, there's the old Route 90 garage sale, so I'm probably gonna meet up with my dad and my sister.
Oh man!
Probably gonna get out $300 in cash. I'm gonna blow it all on lamps,
dude. I think you need, if that's what you're doing today, I think you need to take some photos or even some videos and showcase them on our next episode, because I would love to go to the Route 90 garage sale right now. Oh, like,
yeah.
You know what? Transition, segue. Garage sales are so not what they used to be when in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Garage sales used to be about getting rid of toys, objects, like practical things, but also like weird impractical things that you don't want, that other people might find value in for nostalgia or just general intrigue. 90% of garage sales, you'll see a sign and I'll get excited and it's like garage sale down this way and you're like, oh man, and I drive by, here's all the clothes I don't want anymore. That's not a garage sale. You gotta stop.
It's all mini Goodwills.
Yeah, stop it. Exactly. It's a mini good. I'm like, that's not a garage sale. You're not doing it right. I want your
Here's
weird
an old mirror.
I want your weird stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want your old clothes. You're thinking of donation. Stop trying to make a buck off of your old sweaty, smelly clothes. Like, I want your weird trinkets and stuff. And now, actually, after this, I honestly might drive around and see if there's I might see if there's garage sales on my end.
There was a lot last weekend in Auburn, but yeah, I'm excited. There was one of my favorite in Austin. There was a citywide garage sale, but they'd have it at like an expo center, so people would come in. You could like rent a booth. People would bring that, and there was all. I mean, there was that kind of like weird shit. Like somebody had like a bunch of Lego heads or something like that kind of thing, or like there was like the video game one. But there was, I mean, I have pictures of it on my phone. Someone had like weird statues or like that kind of stuff, and it was awesome just to walk through. Like it was a museum of oddities, kind of.
Yeah.
But there's also a store, a couple locations called Uncommon Objects that you would go to. Really, and again, bizarre stuff, like whether it's like some kind of like deer skull or like some kind of old tin, or like old fishing stuff. And I mean, license plate. So it'd have that kind of stuff. But their thing was, this stuff's so unique. We're going to charge you $300 for this mason jar from the 1800s. Like they were like overcharged everything. So I don't know how they make money.
Right.
'cause
Now
probably
you're going into
people who
more of
have
like
fuck you money are gonna go buy stuff. Yeah.
stupid and like antiquities of being like, all right, you're not doing it in the spirit of garage sale, because spirit of garage sale is just like anything. Garage sale is the OG Craigslist, folks, which means if this thing is labeled as you want $25 for it, there's a 0% chance I'm paying $25 for it.
Mm-hmm.
You market high.
Yeah. Plus, people overcharge at garage sales now. It's like, this isn't eBay, or like, this isn't like a vintage shop. I thought
Also, the
garage
biggest
sales,
one,
like, trying to get rid of stuff.
the biggest nonsensical one is TVs. You gotta, folks, brand new TVs are not even remotely expensive. If you want to sell a TV, you gotta go dirt cheap. Like, you have to be willing to accept $20 for your 32-inch TV. It sounds crazy, but there's not a market, because people don't trust electronics from someone else. Like, we don't know who you are. You don't have like a reputation. So like, TVs are easy to get. They're always going down in price. So like, people are like, oh yeah, this TV, I paid $150 for it 2 years ago. It's perfect condition. I'm willing to sell for $100. I'm willing to give you $20. Like, you gotta stop. But it's all about the haggle. Like, that's the fun. It's supposed to be shit you don't want. You really technically shouldn't be bringing any of this stuff back into your house. Like, a garage sale should be the effort of, I want all of this out of my life. Right. Let's talk numbers.
Yeah. Don't put stuff in your garage sale that you still want, or you still find valuable, or you still like. Like when Brett, Sarah, and I were leaving our house in Austin, we had that garage sale before we were all going to move. And it was really to get rid of stuff. So people were commenting. It's like, wow, these are like really fair prices. And I'm like,
yeah,
I don't
want
it.
I want it not.
Yeah. And there was one guy, I mean, I had like probably some kind of collector's thing from like Diablo 2 that I didn't even know what I had. And he was like, yeah, this is like, I was selling for like $10. And he's like, well, I'll give you $5 for it. And I was like, it's fine. I don't care. I don't even know what it is. Like, I don't know what, like, say I sold all of that CD book for $5. Like, I was selling, like, if somebody was like, I'll give you $2 for this, I'm like, sounds great.
Right.
Like, just take it away from my life. I don't want it anymore. Like,
and now I got
you're
$2.
doing me a favor. Yeah. It's like, it does, if there was something there that I really wanted, then it wouldn't be in the garage sale.
That's how it's supposed to work. That's how it's supposed to work. Yes.
Yeah.
Or people being like,
and if I wanted more money for it, I would sell it on the internet.
Yeah. Insulted by prices. Like, I'll give you 10 for this. What? I paid. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit what you paid. Yeah. I'm saying what I will pay for this thing. A no is fine, but then I do hope at the end of the day you get no one to buy it and you keep it. And then
there's people that will do that. They'll go through the whole garage sale.
Yeah, and they'll make $20 because they sold one thing at the end of the day, and it's because the world's crazy on what they're offering. And it's like, no, you're the crazy one. I assure you, anything you didn't sell that someone offered to buy for a different price, it's on you. You made the poor choice. So, getting heated. I'm getting heated on theoretical bad garage sellers.
Wow. All right, this sounds like a great spot to stop. All right. I
almost hit that 35-40 minute mark
for his weekend.
Did we hit the mark? We missed it.
Yeah, we just passed the 40-minute mark. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Mine says something over an hour, but it must. No, you're probably right.
It's 40 symbolic minutes.
Oh, that's Matt's transitioned to the 82nd minute. He's trying to get people on board. Yeah. It's not working that well.
Dude, time's a construct. We all know it.
That's true.
All right, let's do our words for next week.
Don't use chat.
Sharing the screen.
Don't use Chat GPT, because it's going to give us the same stupid words again. Use that weird generator. Yeah, that one.
I got it. All right. 1, 2, 3, go. Debate. Genuine. Orchestra. Debate. Genuine and orchestra. Really makes you think,
The best is that when we always get 3 words, usually one word totally just doesn't even get discussed. Like, I was just deleting my old words, and I'm like, yeah,
have a
team.
collection of the words
we talked about teams. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have kept
Hey.
all of the words and been like, we never touch those, and then force ourselves to recycle them.
I keep thinking of like going back through, you know, when everything I do in highlights or compilations of things. I'm like, I can't go through these again. Time moves forward. I can't.
Yep.
I can't go
Sorry.
back.
Nope. Not coming back to this. Not revisiting this.
Yeah. Yeah. One
It's
of
good.
these
It's
days
good.
I will. I'm gonna put it on my next time I need to kill 2 hours that I can't figure out what to do. I'll just listen to this podcast.
Oh,
All right. Big gulps, huh?
well, see you later.
It's an